Well, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today for our webinar on revolutionizing Dynamics GP and the power of AI for your business. My name is Chris Dobkins, and I've been in the Dynamics GP community since I forget the year, but it was back when Dynamics GP shipped on about 24 3.5-inch floppy disks. I think that's when I started. Might have been version 2.14. So that's how I measure it. That way I don't have to confront daily how old I am. But I've been in this world for a really long time, and have had an opportunity to work on some of the largest Dynamics GP deployments in the world. We did a 400 user concurrent user Dynamics GP deployment on Azure and a 600 user GP deployment in our private cloud. And I have just really enjoyed and loved my time in the GP space. And at Ingevity, we're not only a Dynamics GP partner and ISV, but we're also a customer. So we use Dynamics GP in-house to run our entire business. We have all of those different kinds of experiences with Dynamics GP. Our mission at Ingevity is to improve the life and success of our partners and customers by providing exceptional business application experiences that simplify, inform, and delight. And this is really what drives everything we do at Ingevity. We are really dedicated, every single one of our team members every day when they come into work and put on their Ingevity hat, they're really focused on trying to provide exceptional experiences to our customers. So today, what I'd like to talk to you about is we're going to start off with what is AI. In a minute, I'm going to ask you guys to participate, and we're going to give you a chance to tell us a little bit about what your experience is with AI. So if you're on the meeting, heads up, I might call your name and ask. If you'd like to volunteer, you can raise your hand and kind of just talk to us about how you've used AI. But this is your warning, this is your heads up, that you might get called on a pop quiz. What is your experience with AI? But we're going to talk about what AI is. We're going to talk about the types of AI. We're going to talk about AI and how it impacts the finance team. And we're going to also talk about Dynamics GP and AI and what's available for you today. If you use Dynamics GP, what kinds of AI tools and capabilities are available for you today. So that's our agenda. That's what we're going to seek to cover. Right off the bat, what is AI? I would imagine that for most of us, the experience that we know that we've had with AI is with generative AI, like tools like ChatGPT or Microsoft Copilot. And so like right now, we're really thinking about that as being like, what AI is. But there's really a lot of different kinds of AI, which we're going to get into in a minute. But really at its core, artificial intelligence is really about just simulating human intelligence, and having that simulated intelligence inserted into machines that can perform certain tasks. You'll hear a lot about artificial general intelligence. That's where where we get to the point where the AI can improve itself, and then we start getting into existential questions and philosophical questions about is the AI conscious and so on. We're not going to get too much into that today. We might talk about the Terminators a little bit, but at the end of the day, really, artificial intelligence is really just a simulation of human intelligence and trying to help the computers perform tasks for us in a better way so that we get the outputs that we really want to get. That's AI, and of course, by the end of today's session, the Skynet will have created the Terminators, and they'll all be coming for us. So, let's talk about a couple examples of what AI is. You might not think about it, but for example, facial recognition. Have you noticed how like Facebook just automatically starts to know who the people in your pictures are? Or like Apple Photos, they just start to recognize the faces in your photos. I don't know. I probably just aged myself when I said Facebook. Um, maybe I don't know. Maybe most of you guys would be thinking about the gram. I don't know. But like that technology that analyzes the faces in your photos and figures out who they are. The technology that allows you to remove things from photos, which I think Google started first with the Google Eraser, and now is in Apple Photos also. But just some really cool things around picture editing that use that use AI. Um, we also started with like recommendation engines, things like like how does Netflix know what movies to suggest to you, or what does Amazon know what products to suggest that you might be interested in. I mean, these are examples of AI where uh, they're using big data and machine learning to look at the buying trends of other customers who've watched or bought similar products, and then use that to try to help you with something. And then, of course, one of the things I'm sure we all love, the doom scroll on social media. Thank you very much, AI. For most of us, I think we think about our first interaction experience with AI being ChatGPT or Copilot, but really we've been engaging with AI for quite a while in social media, as their algorithms are really tuned towards engagement and keeping you on their platform for another minute. They're just going to continue to feed you things that are similar to things that you've already looked at, and or things that you've stopped. And I don't know if you guys realize this, but you don't actually have to click on something on Facebook or Twitter or on uh, Instagram in order for it to know that you uh, are interested in it. All you have to do is slow your scroll down a little bit, and the algorithm, the AI, will realize that you're interested in it, that you've slowed down, whether it's the picture or the headline. All you have to do is slow down. So factor that in as you're trying to program your algorithm in your social media. Um, and Mike referenced our transcription and summarization tools. Otter and Fireflies have been two of the early movers into this space, and of course, Microsoft has just released this kind of capability in Teams Premium, which is absolutely fantastic. I mean, this is something that we're going to start. Where we've started piloting at Ingevity, and I mean, boy, what an amazing tool. You don't have to have somebody sitting in the meeting taking notes. This literally takes the transcription of the meeting and turns it into a summary that you can save and go back and reference. It's a really, really powerful capability. And then where all of this Chat GPT thing got started, really started happening around sentiment analysis. So there were some researchers that were trying to figure out how to tell if the posts that people were making on social media about a particular product or company were positive or negative. And in order for them to try to figure that out, they created some technology that would be able to predict what the person would type next, what the next word was that the person would type, and out of that sentiment analysis technology sprang generative AI. The ability, not just the ability to predict the one next word, but the ability to put together a whole lot of words based on a query entered by a user. So we all have social media to thank for ChatGPT and the different kinds of generative AI that are out there now. So the different types of AI, we've already been talking about generative AI. I mean, this is really the one that's capturing everybody's attention today. This is ChatGPT, this is Copilot, and there is a lot that we're doing at Ingevity. There's a lot that I know some of you guys are doing with generative AI. And this is really where the enormous amount of money is going. Like companies like OpenAI and Google and others are really putting massive amounts of money into their generative AI tools. But this is also one where I've personally just really struggled with trying to figure out how we would use this inside of our accounting system. So, as you guys are listening today, or if you're listening online, if you've got a really good idea on how we might be able to use generative AI, I'm just having a little bit of a failure of imagination here when it comes to plugging this into integrating it into an accounting system. And we're going to talk a little bit later about how what things you can do as a finance professional with generative AI tools. But when I watch what Microsoft is doing with some of their other ERP products and building Copilot into them, I think, gosh, do I really want to enter a journal entry narratively? Do I want to type in to a prompt, please create a journal entry, debit account, 1005-23- 000, and I don't feel like I want to do that, right? I feel like I just want to enter a journal entry. Do I want to generate a sales order narratively? I don't know. It just doesn't seem like something I want to do. Maybe maybe Gen Z, Gen Alpha, maybe if you guys are listening, maybe that's something that you want to do. I got stuck in Gen X, and for me, I just want to enter that stuff and not type out the description of what I want to be entered. And so I've really been struggling with how I might use generative AI inside of an ERP system. But where we do see things happening inside and around the ERP system is machine learning, for example. This is where we really get into things like predictive analytics and forecasting, where we can take big chunks of data and predict the future based on the past. And this is something that we have available today in GP, and I'm going to get into that in a little bit. But this is something where we've actually been using this for a long time around GP. Primarily surfaced up through Excel, right? So you get your GP data into Excel, and you can use Excel's machine learning and big data capabilities to really analyze all of that data. Other kinds of AI that exist, narrow AI is a type of AI that just performs a single task. This might be like a virtual assistant. It could be automated expense reporting. It could be a bot that interacts with your customers on your support site or on your sales side. So it's something that just kind of does one thing. Deep learning is this is really where you get into things like neural networks that are able to analyze big sets of complex and unstructured data. So imagine that you took every PDF and Word document that your company has ever created, and you wanted to have those analyzed, right? It's not like analyzing rows in a spreadsheet. This is like pulling data out of unstructured data sources and performing analysis on it. So things like being able to analyze a PDF of an invoice and automatically classify it based on similar types of invoices that you've had before without a human having to intervene and tell the system what to do, or being able to pull insights out of emails or scan financial documents. Those are the kind of things that deep learning is moving us into. And then robotic process automation. It sounds fancy, but really, this is just like, you don't actually have to have a robot like in Black Mirror. Like, it's not, you don't actually have to have the robot dog chasing you. This could just simply be, automating a process or a task, like automating invoice processing, right? Like having a mailbox that your vendors send invoices to, and having those invoices be captured by your AP automation system, which would then, present them to someone in AP to code, or maybe actually, suggest coding for those invoices based on how similar types of invoices have been coded before. Or it could be like, of financial reconciliations. So it's, when I first saw this word, I thought, oh, great, robots in accounting. But it's really just about automating a process. And then, of course, we get to artificial general intelligence. This is the big one, right? This is the one that like everyone's afraid of. I hear folks like Sam Altman, who's the CEO of OpenAI, who makes ChatGPT, say that he thinks we're gonna be at AGI in sometime in early 2025. And then I hear other really smart people like Elon Musk is convinced that AGI isn't going to be here for another 10 years. So, there's a lot of guessing going on in terms of when we're gonna achieve artificial general intelligence. And I think that's the one that kind of concerns people, right? When the AI is able to make itself smarter, when the AI becomes self-aware, what kind of impact does that have on our society, on our economy? And this is also the reason why these companies are spending so much money investing in their AI technologies, because the theory behind this is that the first company that's able to create an artificial general intelligence that's able to make itself better will never lose the lead. If you create the AGI 1 week before your closest competitor, your AI has now had a week to make itself even better, and your closest competitor is never going to be able to catch up with you. So, there's this idea in this space. It's this gamification concept that you've got to be the first one to get to AGI. Otherwise, you've lost. And this is also why we're seeing such pushback on things like regulations and trying to slow down to make sure that we're doing the right things ethically. Because it's not just Amazon and Google and Microsoft competing against each other. It's the U.S. and China and Russia competing against each other. So even if we were able to slow down the U.S.-based companies, that wouldn't necessarily slow down companies based out of other countries. And of course, the U.S. wants to win this race, and so we are full steam ahead. Personally, I think we are. I think we're a lot further away from AGI than I don't think it's going to be here in a year. I think it's going to take a little bit more time than that to get here. But I've sure seen a lot of really interesting science fiction movies about what happens when it does. So I hope that we do a little better than say Ex Machina did, for example. I wanted to spend a little bit of time on generative AI, because this is a place where this is really the place where most of us are getting exposure to the thing that we call AI today. Yesterday we called them algorithms. Today we call it AI, but the generative AI space is really special. This is where we're seeing things like image generation using DALL-E inside of ChatGPT. In fact, every single image in this PowerPoint deck was created with ChatGPT using the Dolly. Really all you have to do is say, ChatGPT, please create me an image of this, right? And it automatically engages the Dolly engine and creates an image for you. So as you watch the images throughout the rest of the deck, just keep that in mind. Every single one of these images was created by ChatGPT. Headshots. This is like the Aragon.ai. If you need a new headshot, you can pay $50, upload 10 photos of yourself, and Aragon will give you 100 different headshot pictures for you to choose from. And in fact, the headshot that I'm using in this slide deck was generated by Aragon. That is not a real picture of me, although it does look like me. It's not I did not pose for that picture. You'll get to see that picture again when we get to the very end, I believe. But yeah, just keep that in mind too. Like, even the picture of me that you saw at the beginning of this was created by AI. Mid-Journey, if you've played around with ChatGPT and you've struggled, you're like, man, I really want images that are more artistic than what ChatGPT is able to create. Mid-Journey is just a beautiful, beautiful tool. It's a little hard to sign up for and get logged into. I mean, you have to put some effort into it, but once you get into it, I mean, you can create real artistic level images. I have a friend who wrote a book, and he used Mid-Journey to create the cover for his book, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. It looks like it was created by a human. And so these are also some examples of places where AI is also starting to impact our economy, right? Like, yesterday my friend would have had to hire somebody to create his book cover. Today he just had to figure out the right prompts to put into Mid-Journey to get what he wanted. And I think there's a couple of ways to look at that. And like the way that I see it is that some of these tools, whether they're like music that I can automatically create music for you, or that's automatically creating videos. I think Mike recently you found some AI tool that created a podcast with two people talking about longevity, and it sounded super real. The whole thing was totally AI generated. I've also got friends who've created podcasts with video, where you can upload 6 or 8 seconds of video of yourself, and then a transcript, and it'll actually generate a video podcast, a video of you saying all these things, and it can do it in like any language that you want it to do it in as well. So all these tools are so powerful, and you could look at it and say, well, gosh, that's going to put some artists out of business, and it might, but also to me it like really it gives me the ability, as someone who's not artistic at all, someone who has no talent from an art standpoint, to be able to create art. And the art then becomes the way that you create those prompts, and and how you lead the machine to create the image or the music. It seems to make art and music a lot more accessible to all of us, which I think is really cool. We're also starting to use generative AI at Longevity around software code. And Maria was talking about having it help her create Excel macros. We're using it to help us create C# code. And the impact we're seeing here is maybe instead of needing 10 developers, maybe I need 3. And it's helping us become a lot more efficient and effective and produce higher quality code. But we still need humans. Like, we still need humans to interact with the AI and then deploy the code into our applications. There's just a lot of different really interesting things that you can do. And hey, if you haven't played around with Aragon yet for photographs like of yourself, if you need a new headshot, if you want a new headshot, it's really, really cool and it's super cheap, and I highly recommend it. All right, let's move on and talk about how AI can impact the finance team. So I loved Maria's example of the mileage reimbursements. That's a really great example of using AI to create Excel macros to automate a repetitive task, to automate the task of having to enter those mileage reimbursements. And that's a great example about how you can use AI on the finance team to help find new efficiencies. Like better insights. This is back to machine learning. I don't know that I mean, you can certainly use a generative AI system like a ChatGPT to upload a meeting transcript and have it pull out the key points from that meeting, or you could upload a document to it and have it tell you what the most important things in that document are. Although this might be a good time to point out that you also have to be really careful with generative AI tools because they do suffer from illusions, which is another way of saying that they can lie to you. They don't necessarily know the difference between truth and fiction. So they might give you just totally wrong answers. If you're doing some research on a health issue through ChatGPT, it's a really good idea to validate and double check what they said, what ChatGPT said, because it could be giving you bad information. So uploading a document and then relying solely on what ChatGPT tells you could be a little bit dangerous. But it could help you identify, not ChatGPT, but machine learning inside of Excel could help you to make better decisions by detecting and analyzing trends faster, and really take large chunks of data and help you predict how should we price this product, or how much inventory quantity should we order. These are ways that you can use AI inside the finance team. And one of the ways we've been doing that for the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years has been inside of Excel. So we've been using Excel. Excel has a lot of amazing capabilities, and now that you lay Power BI on top of it, we get some even more interesting capabilities to analyze large data sets, and even things like optimizing delivery routes. I mean, I used to do this demo where we would export a bunch of sales orders from GP into Excel, and then use the Power Maps app inside of Excel to create, look at the addresses on the sales order and automatically create the most optimal delivery route for that set of sales orders. So some real interesting things that you can do in Excel with the solver and the 3D maps. Excel also has their forecast sheet that you can use to do predictive forecasting, and so you can load up a bunch of data from, say, the last 3, 4, 5 years, and it will it can help you forecast more accurately for the next year. Then you've got tools like Power Query that can help you detect anomalies and even fraud inside large data sets, or can help you do clustering and customer segmentation, so that you can analyze your customer groups, and you can put customers in the groups that maybe you hadn't considered before, and analyze their buying trends. And then You can also use the combination of Power Query and machine learning inside of Excel to clean your data, where it can help you detect duplicate records. It can help you find missing data or data that's been formatted incorrectly. Maybe you've got a dollar amount column that's supposed to have dollar amounts in it, and somebody's typed in a dollar sign, so it's detecting that field as a text field instead of a number field. You can use these tools to automatically find those things for you. So there's a lot that we can do with just with our data once we get it into Excel from Dynamics GP. And with Dynamics GP, of course, we also have live Excel reports. So you can take those live Excel reports that automatically pull that data from Dynamics GP and then use these Excel tools on top of that Dynamics GP data. So you're constantly getting fresh, updated information. Some other ways that we can use, if we really want to use generative AI in the finance office, these are some examples. Things. I mean, we actually at Ingevity do all of these things, and you guys might have some others. If you do, throw them in the chat. I'd love to hear how you're using generative AI, whether it's ChatGPT or Copilot or any of the other generative AI tools that are out there. But we've started using ChatGPT. We just opened up a new seat in our finance team, and I use ChatGPT to create a job description and a scorecard for that role. And I just kind of explained to ChatGPT what some of the responsibilities would be, and it spits out a job description. We use Clifton Strengths Finder as one of our tools at Ingevity. So even ask ChatGPT to tell me, like, based on this job description, what are the top 5 Clifton strengths that I should be looking for someone in this role. And then we take that job description and it automatically creates a set of measurable outputs or outcomes that we can use on our scorecards. This is something that would have taken me hours and hours and hours to do yesterday, but today I can create a pretty complete and accurate job description and scorecard in 30-45 minutes. It's pretty amazing. We also have used it for referral letters. Sometimes I had somebody, this wasn't an Ingevity situation, but I had somebody else that was telling me, they had a team member that had left under less than positive circumstances, and then later called back and asked for a referral letter. And they didn't even know where to start. Like, where do I even start with creating a referral letter for this person? And they just put that into ChatGPT, and ChatGPT spit out a really good first draft of a referral letter for somebody that that this person was having a hard time finding positive things to say about. You can also use it to do things like creating product descriptions. If you're an online seller and you want to create more compelling descriptions for your products, generative AI is really good for doing things like that. Collection letters, we use this for that, for creating collection letters that we then pump into Professional Advantages collection management, and have it for that. But it saves us the time of having to do the initial writing project. So, those are some of the ways that you can use generative AI in the finance office. And like I said earlier, I've still been really struggling at how can we use generative AI inside of GP. If we can figure it out, we will build something for Power GP Online that uses Copilot or generative AI. But so far, the things that I've seen just don't jump out at me as things that folks would really want. So some of your ideas, and maybe we can turn those into product suggestions if you've got some good ones. So this next part is one of the things that I love, because like we like to think of AI as being this brand new thing, but when you really think about it, I mean, GP has been using AI for a really long time. I mean, we've really taken the word algorithm and converted it into AI. So like our PO generator that we have, just baked inside of Dynamics GP, it looks at your your order information. It looks at your inventory quantities, and it will automatically suggest to you what you should buy based on that information. Yesterday we called that an algorithm or a program, but today that's something that we would call AI, right? It's a tool. It's the computer simulating human intelligence, taking the place of the person who used to walk around the warehouse and just eyeball the shelves and try to help you decide what to buy. Like, this is AI inside of GP. The cash flow forecasting tool that we have inside of GP is another great item. Or if you're a manufacturer, MRP, manufacturer resource planning, where you're trying to predict what do I need to manufacture based on your current inventory levels and your current demand. You can also use this. I mean, GP just automatically calculates average days to pay for every customer, which makes it real easy to predict who's going to pay late. If you've got 100 customers that owe you money, you can make a smart list that has how much they owe you and their average days to pay, sort it by average days to pay, and you can kind of take that to the bank around who's going to pay you late, and maybe put some more effort into trying to proactively collect from the folks who generally take the longest amount of time to pay. We've also got some amazing ISV products in our community that have been creating AI-based tools for Dynamics GP. So bank reconciliation automation. I mean, this is something that that Ingevity created for Power GP Online called Power GP Banking. That will download your transactions from your bank and automatically match them up with transactions that already exist in Dynamics GP. We've got some really powerful subledger reconciliation tools that are out there from our friends like at Reporting Central. If you ever use the Closer, it's a really good tool to help you find and clean your data in your subledgers. You've also got some like AP automation companies out there, like I think Maria mentioned QuickTag. You've got PN3 that are adding additional AI into their AP automation, so they're not just detecting new AP invoices, but they're actually coding them for you as well. So we've got some really amazing things. NetStock is another one of my favorite from an inventory forecasting standpoint, where they'll not only just take your current demand and your current inventory quantities, but they'll analyze your sales history and help you do predictive forecasting on what you need to purchase, and help you make sure that you've only got the things that you need to have. Expense report management, Gorilla Expense has some great AI capabilities built into it. Avalara is adding AI into their way they do their sales tax calculations. And if you haven't, I mean, you can also, if you've got the budget for it, because it's not free and it's a little bit expensive, but Microsoft has put Copilot into Power BI. So once you get your Dynamics GP data up into Power BI, you can actually create reports by just kind of typing in what you want, right? Like you can say, I'd like to have a customer report that's grouped by customer class, that compares my sales from last year to this year, and it'll just automatically create that report for you, and you don't have to know the field names. You don't have to know how to do grouping or anything like that. You can just kind of describe the kind of report that you want, and it'll create it for you. You can also ask it questions about the data in the report, and it'll go through and find that for you. So there's some really interesting things you can do. It's really expensive, but if you've got the budget for it, it's got the ability to do some cool things. I think there's some some videos out there on YouTube that you can watch if you're interested in that, as to what you can do with Copilot inside of Power BI. Now, one of the questions we get a lot as we talk about AI, is AI going to replace accountants? I'll tell you, my personal view on this is, I don't think it will. I think AI might replace some accountants. As we continue to automate, you might get to a point where you feel like, instead of having 10 AP clerks, maybe you only need 3 AP clerks. Maybe instead of needing a full accounting team of 20, maybe you need 7. So it could certainly have an impact as we automate some of the more routine tasks on the size of our departments. And we'll see people that are doing a lot of data entry, let's say, that data entry might get replaced by some AP automation. But we're still going to need people to do things like edit data, approve transactions, make strategic decisions, and review what the AI says. Because as good as these AI tools are, they still make mistakes. So what can you do next? I think the most important thing that you can do is to get started. The sooner you get started learning how to use some of these new AI tools, the better off you're going to be. So if you haven't started playing around with them, get a ChatGPT account and start playing. There's some great courses out there that can help you learn how to write better prompts for ChatGPT. They're not expensive. You can spend an hour or two in one of these online courses, just learning. It's really important in ChatGPT the way that you type your prompt, because the way that you input what you ask is going to have a big impact on what you get out of the tool itself. So get started. Don't wait. Because if your AP department is going to go from 10 to 3, you want to be one of those 3. And the way you're going to be one of those 3 is by knowing how to use these tools. So don't let yourself get behind. Get in and start learning. And then I like to say, be nice to the AI. If the AI does ever become sentient, I want it to like me. So I try to say please and thank you to ChatGPT a lot, as silly as that is. Every time ChatGPT gives me a result, I say that's great, but could we try this? And I just try to be really nice and friendly to the AI. I want it to feel like I'm one of the good guys. When it sends the Terminators out, I want it to feel like, hey, Chris was all right. He wasn't rude to us. And then another good one is to just be nice on social media, which I think we could just make this world a better place anyways. But if the AI is consuming all this data, it's probably consuming all the things that we say on social media. And man, I sure wouldn't want it to judge the whole of humanity based on the way that we interact with each other on social media. So I just try to be nice to the AI and nice to other people, and I feel like that's going to help create a good outcome. So I'm going to pause and allow a few minutes for Q&A. And I've got a couple of questions here in the question area, but they're so tiny. Let me see if I can get them to a place where I can read them. All right, let's see. Somebody asked, what do you say to executives that question using AI in relation to security risks, i.e. HIPAA information or business information? So if you are using any of the free unpaid AI services out there, like if you're using the free version of ChatGPT, um, your data is not private. So if you upload a spreadsheet into the free version of ChatGPT, and that spreadsheet has a bunch of sales data that has personally identifiable information, let's say, that information is going up into the ChatGPT system and is going to be used to train ChatGPT. Now, I don't know how somebody, a bad actor might gain access to that spreadsheet, but it's certainly not private. And ChatGPT will tell you the same. Like, you should not upload secure private business data into those free versions. There are versions of ChatGPT that you can pay for where they specifically say that your data is private. So for example, at Ingevity, we use the Teams edition of ChatGPT. And so any data that we upload into the engine is private and won't be used by the ChatGPT system for learning, and it won't be it won't be something like if I put some information into our ChatGPT about Ingevity that was private. Like, so let's say I put our employee identification number, which really isn't private, but pretend it is. And then somebody asked ChatGPT, what's Ingevity's, that's a bad example because ChatGPT probably knows what our EIN is because it's public information. But let's say I loaded something secret into ChatGPT, and somebody else then asked ChatGPT that a question. ChatGPT won't have what I loaded into it as in its knowledge base, but if I put that same information in the free version of ChatGPT, it will be in the ChatGPT knowledge base, and it could. I guess that's how someone would get it, right? They could be asking questions that might produce some personally identifiable information. So what I would say to that is, if you're concerned about HIPAA, don't use the free version, or don't upload any data that has personally identifiable information in it into ChatGPT or any of these tools for to have it analyze or anything like that. So I hope that answers your question. If it doesn't, or if you have another question about that, Stephanie, just pop it in to the Q&A, and I can get a little deeper. But I totally agree, Jason. Jason says AI won't replace accountants, but accountants that know how to use AI will replace ones that don't. So that for sure, you want to be learning how to use these AI tools. That's the best way to ensure job security is just learning how to use these tools. So that is that's really all I've got for you today. I'm going to just come back to my introduction slide, and yeah, that picture looks like me, but it is not a real picture of me. That was produced by an AI. Which is pretty fun. Aragon.ai. Yeah, I also created some pictures of myself, down about 50 pounds, which motivated me to start taking a little better care of myself. So, I really love this Aragon tool. Any other questions? Oh, thank you, Stephanie. I'm impressed by the headshot too. You should see some of the others. I looked pretty darn good in some of those other headshots, I have to tell you. I just wish they'd actually been me. All right, well, everyone, thank you so much for joining us today as we talk about AI and how it impacts the accounting department and the finance team. If you've got questions, please send them over to us. If you have ideas or if you have answers, we don't know all the answers ourselves. So, this really needs to be a conversation that we have together as we all in in finance and IT try to figure out what do these tools mean for us, and what can we be doing to best prepare, and how can we integrate these tools into our products and services so that our customers can have better experiences. So please let us know what we can be doing, to improve your experience. And until next time, thank you very much for joining us.